So I remember clearly when the South African COVID-19 variant was first being reported. My 12-year-old daughter, Gigi, came storming into our kitchen, and she said with great confidence, "Dad, there's a new COVID variant. It's in South Africa, and it's killing everybody." I was like, "All right, G, slow down. Like, where's this coming from?" "TikTok," she said confidently. I was like, "You gotta be kidding me, TikTok? My daughter's getting a piece of information as important as a new COVID variant from TikTok?" Admittedly, I thought that was the place where her and her girlfriends would go, make these crazy dance videos, share them with each other, and I think the rest of the world could see them too. And admittedly, sometimes I would guest star in these videos. By the way, she told me, "Dad, when I posted that, we blew up," which I think is a good thing, so I'm taking that as a victory. Look, TikTok is, as you all know, is a social media platform that allows anyone around the ages of 13 years and older to create and post content for the entire world to see. And this is no knock on TikTok. It's a fabulous social media company that's taken the world by storm. And honestly, in the last year and a half, I've consumed more and participated in more TikTok anyone my age should ever admit to. But when it comes to getting a story as important as a new COVID variant or anything else that impacts our lives in a meaningful way, I wholeheartedly and undoubtedly believe that she should be getting that information, that we should be getting that information from a trusted news source, ones that have clear legal standards of gathering and disseminating information that you can rely on and trust. Sourced, accurate information that's 100% based on fact, not necessarily TikTok. So prior to the pandemic, there was a widely held belief that local media had to evolve in order to stay relevant or even become relevant with the next generation of audiences. Over time, all local media outlets had started to suffer from the same issues: time-specific viewing, an aging audience, and a very specific formula of how we gathered and reported on information that wasn't resonating with younger audiences. Audiences that demand information on their terms, how, when, and where they want it. And most importantly, from a relatable source told to them by authentic people. Look, I believe we still have a well-established model that continues to serve local communities with critical and factual information. But as consumption habits have changed to a more on-demand behavior and distribution platforms have changed, it will continue to be a focus of our industry to keep pace with these changes. Because guess what? It's not going backwards, and if we don't, we'll be left out. And the need for accurate information has never been more important than it is right now. So I had no idea last March when we were all sent home for the pandemic from work. I thought, like many of you, I'd find the unused space in my house to go about my daily work. But what I wasn't anticipating was how the pandemic would invite me to unintentionally view my daughter's behavior, typical teenage girls, ranging from the ages of 12 to 19, and I got to see them practically 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Being in the house with them through quarantine, I would watch them consume information and react to it and share it in an ecosystem that wasn't 100% based on sourced and factual information. Certainly, these habits weren't new prior to the pandemic, and they were not revealed to me because of it. But in that moment, I was able to see them in a way that otherwise I would not have been able to watch. It was abundantly clear to me that even though the houses they were living in, the couches they were laying on, the devices in their hand, were all paid for by me, a guy working in local media, not one of them would consume any information on any of the stations that I represent. Literally, not even the dog was paying attention to what I did. So I would walk from room to room, and they would be laying uncomfortably and upside down in chairs and couches, skipping ads, which, by the way, paid for your stuff, swiping, sharing, posting, liking, binging. Always on their phones, headphones in, ignoring me and everything I do for a living. By the way, this is my favorite. They created a device where she literally doesn't have to use her hands anymore so she can watch content and eat Cheez-Its. Look, I think in local news we've made many innovations and changes that have made us more relevant in the spaces that they live. We're in those spaces with accurate and fact-driven information that people can rely on. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, but they're just not using us the way we want them to. Look, we're smart about it. We portray our identity there in smart ways. We're serving the community. It's important to us and we get it. But still, my kids aren't sharing any of our information. They're not relying on it for any real reasons. They're quoting and sharing information from a number of other sources. The scary thing is everyone's a content creator these days. If you have an iPhone or an iPad, you can create content. If you're 13 years or older, you can share that content for the world to see. You can even create your own narrative. And the scary thing about that is people believe it. They think it's factual. They trust it. So we, the local news, have been the source of information for generations of people. If you're 30 years-ish or older, you've always relied on local news to give you the factual information about the topics of the day. In this past year alone, we've had a pandemic that's impacted the entire world. We had an historic election. We've had a fight for racial equality like we've never done before. But no one's paying attention to us. We're losing our place. So I thought to myself, what can I do? What can we do? What was watching my children's behavior teaching me, really? What was it screaming at me to do? It was loud and clear. Change everything, see what happens, take a chance. So we did. We changed our local news station, New England Cable News, and we wanted to create something that would smash all conventional wisdom about what you think about local news and programming. We decided that we were going to attract female millennials. We wanted to reach a group of people that weren't currently participating with us in any real way. We wanted to take a digital, mobile, social approach to our production. We focused on women 25 to 40 whose habits are health and fitness, money, family, food, travel, technology. We wanted to pursue those interests for them in a way that they could use them locally. We wanted to attract people whose media consumption habits were fast and quick news updates. They love Facebook Live. They love YouTube for quick tips. They wanted to do those things to help navigate them in their own communities in a real way. So, in order for us to get their attention, we had to become contemporary, dynamic, vibrant, and most importantly, authentic. We had to win back their attention on things like breaking news and weather. There's way more nuance to a weather forecast than a sun or a cloud on your iPhone. We had to find new ways to tell and present stories in a way that they would care about it. How did it impact their life? What was available to them to make adjustments with the information that we gave them? Stories about crime aren't just focused on a shooting in a neighborhood. It's what are the safest or the most dangerous communities that you live in? What's happening with gun laws? What's happening legislatively? What's happening with policing? So it wasn't just the type of content that we needed to change. It was the person that was presenting the content. They had to be authentic, raw, reliable, relatable, with more of an edge in the language that they were using and the way they dressed. Clothing went from business wear to street appropriate. So we changed the writing to be more conversational. We ripped off all the plastic to become more raw, more real, more authentic. We also changed the viewing experience to be more like how this audience consumes media in other places. Less commercial breaks, 30 seconds of content within what we were showing them. We focused on more animation, explainer videos, life hacks, swipeable and shareable type content. Listen, I wish I could stand here and tell you that it changed everything, that female millennials have flocked over to watch us on NECN, that my daughters are now sharing and liking more content from the stations I represent. That hasn't happened yet, but I think we've taken a large step in the right direction, and the things that we're learning on NECN, we're going to be able to apply to our other stations that I represent, NBC 10, Telemundo, and NBC Sports Boston. But that's not what this is about. It's about us, the news industry, staying relevant with the next generation of audiences, so that they can make reliable decisions based on accurate information. It's about finding a way to meet them where they are and share fact-based information. Delivering what we must deliver in a way that works for every person in our communities, in multiple languages, on multiple platforms. It's about meeting our obligation to people about what's going on in their neighborhoods so they can react to it, in their towns, their businesses, their schools, what's happening in government. You deserve honest, fact-based, unbiased, useful information where you live. Your news industry, our news industry, should deliver that to you in a way that works for you. So keep demanding of us that we do. So in a blink of an eye, my 12-year-old will be 32 years old, God help me. And when she is, we, the local news, need to be there to share information for her and her family in a way that's useful to her. But for now, while she's still young, I must thank her and my other daughters, Gabrielle, Madeline, Camille, and Gigi. Thank you for consuming random information while lounging in awkward positions upside down on couches. Thank you for ignoring me in everything that I do, because you made me fight for your attention. You made me better, you made us better, and you may not understand exactly why that is right now, although you should, because I just explained it for 15 minutes. I promise going forward that I'll continue to pay attention to the several other things that you're probably doing wrong, change my business to help guide you forward without you knowing it, like all good dads do. Thank you.